Women on Bumble no longer have to make the first move. As dissatisfaction with online dating grows, the app that put women in control is shifting course. Now, I'm going to just give this a description based largely on what Wes said before the stream, so let me know if I get something wrong. Bumble was a dating app which discriminated itself from other dating apps by enforcing that women make the first move.
It was advertised as the feminist Tinder.
Yeah.
Because it was only women could make the first move. And to be fair, it was less Tinder and was more Plenty of Fish or traditional dating site. But it was. I remember when it first came out because I thought the idea was great. It's like, women come to me. Let's go. Let's do it.
Indeed.
But yeah.
But as many of you know, and as many others of you probably have realized, women don't make the first move in relationships most of the time. And certainly a lot of women prefer not to. In fact, a lot of them would view it as an insult if they have to make the first move. So it's women obviously, in these sorts of situations, they demand that their ego is boosted by even strangers in order to get even close enough to them to exchange words beyond just you. Now, I'm talking about high standards. Way too high standards. Women of today have too high standards. But this is also true under normal circumstances as well, just to a lesser extent. And there's some reason behind it. Men ought to have the social courage to make the first move in order to be worthy of breeding, to some extent. And so there is something to that. It's probably true that most women would never make the first move, or almost never make the first move. And so I would always have suspected this app wouldn't work very well. I mean, it may work for the particularly adventurous, particularly one-night stand prone women, I would guess. There's a greater correlation there. But women interested in forming actual relationships, women interested in something that lasts more than one night, probably not. And feminists, interestingly, probably fall mostly into the latter camp. So I'm not sure why it was sort of thought of as feminist beyond just the marketing line. But it seems like those women have decided, actually, yeah, no, we don't like the idea of doing that because, ready? It's a lot of work or a burden. We shouldn't have to do that. Someone else should. Who could that be, I wonder? Oh, I wonder. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think you want to go. Yeah, it's not really worth going into it too much because I did post the genuine article in repository, but it's kind of boring. The meme is fine. But I could tell you with certainty that Bumble was not used for hookup culture. Bumble was used for dating culture. And as someone who used apps for both, Tinder. And there was also another app back in the day called High Five. Tinder was used for hookup culture. Like when you went to when like hypothetically, I'm not saying that anyone in particular did this, but hypothetically, if you were to say travel to another city and you were going to be there for a week or so, and you wanted to kind of link up with someone and kind of figure out where all the good parties were, maybe have a little anonymous fun, like that type of thing. You would go on Tinder, you would make a profile real quick, you would throw a couple of your pictures up and you'd be like, hey, this is where I am. This is what I'm doing. This is how long I'm going to be there. Whoever's interested, do it. Back in the day when it was very clear what Tinder was, that's what it was used for. It was like, hey, hook up, treat women like a anti-tank rifle. You fucking forget. You throw it away after you're done. But it got more complicated and stuff like that. But Bumble was more for, guys, there was a really nice period there for a few years where normal women, heavy finger quotes normal, if one can comprehend such things, a normal woman, average women, I would say, were genuinely brainwashed themselves into believing the feminist nonsense that, women can do everything a man can do. There's no doubt, like that type of thing. And they would kind of force themselves into these masculine habits and stuff like that. And it was great because it was like, Oh, you want to pay for dinner? Oh, you're the one asking me out? Oh, you're the one doing all the work? You're the one who's insisting on doing all these things? Fine. Sweet. Don't let me stop you. And for a few years, it was good. For a few years, there was enough women out there denying reality and forcing themselves into these habits where it was like, yeah, I'll definitely take advantage of this. It was great. But unfortunately, like all good things, it cannot last. And most rational thinking women, again, if you can fathom such things, I know I'm stretching, but most average women finally was like, yeah, no, this is not for me, and kind of backed out. But Bumble kind of stuck around because enough brainwashed women convinced themselves that it was, like, especially in cities and stuff like that, convinced themselves that it was that it was something that they wanted to do, that it was something that they liked, that it's a feature that they liked, that men don't get to, that they don't have to be constantly bombarded by men's messages and stuff like that. And it's like, I mean, if you want to, sure. Because the thing is I had Bumble, I had a bunch of these dating and hookup apps on my phone back in the day, so it was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And but yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, this is not going to last very long. But it actually, believe it or not, it lasted what, 6 years before they changed the policy finally. 6-7 years, I think. And that's a good track record for something so stupid. Just saying.
Yeah. So if fair enough, I didn't expect it would be used by anyone real, but fair enough if it was. So a few things. Firstly, someone in chat was saying, why don't we just have an algorithm that matches two people together? Well, then they wouldn't make any money.
Yeah.
Unless you pay them once a lump sum and they'll match you. There might be services like that. But that's not what Tinder's built on.
That's what Match.com advertises, where they have like this very finely tuned algorithm that will guarantee you X amount of dates or some shit like that. It's been a while since I bothered with anything like that. It's been about 4 years, because I stopped doing that in 2020 because, obvious reasons. But the day Old West died, I guess. I stopped doing that stuff. And Match.com, that was one of the things that they advertised.
There is an alternative, of course, to dating apps. Just hang around in Cabal. It's worked a shockingly high number of times so far. And currently, Die is available as far as I know. So if any of you have any interest in pushing a wheelchair, then that's where you want to go. But yeah, I could believe that could happen for a short time. Yes, Wes. And I think the idea of those apps is that it touches again on the whole sort of poor women so lonely with holding back a door full of men offering. But the thing is, the men behind that door are not worthy of them in their opinion. So they're basically background noise. And if they're below the rating at which women find to be the lowest they'd accept, then men turn from, men trying to be with them, turns from an appealing potential partnership to a sheer annoyance, not much different than a stalker. Or, just constant static or tinnitus or something. So they constantly get messages from men they don't like, and that's never gonna, it's never gonna actually come to anything, most likely. So you could make an app, yes, where the women make the first move, but making one where they have to say something, I'd find that unlikely to work. Maybe if Bumble retooled to just allow women to choose, like, these people are allowed to message me, that could work better. Well, then again, I think that's pretty much what Tinder is. So
Tinder.
All it would be is that you would give a token message, as someone said earlier. They just say hi.
Well, I mean, that's what dating apps most like. Trust me, the dating app thing is an absolute unmitigated disaster. Like, you want to know why women? You want to know why women have such a high ideal for themselves? It's dating apps and OnlyFans. Where a 6.5 chick with a cottage cheese ass can get 15 guys paying $5 a month to watch her bounce up and down on an exercise ball. It's like, oh wow, all women think that they can be millionaires and deserve a man who makes $500,000 a year and drives a Lambo. And it's like, bitch, you've got cellulite at 20. Who do you think you're gonna catch? Like, the expectations of women nowadays is ridiculous. And obviously hashtag not all, but I hate the need to say that. But like, oh my God, it is horrific. Because and you might think, oh well, that's just internet stuff. That's just what they say online. That's just cherry picked women on these videos. No, dude, no. Almost every woman that I've met is, you need to make X amount of money. You need to be 6 foot plus. You need to have your own car. It needs to be at least X amount of and yes, I will admit, the dating pool where I am is horrifically horrific. It is a special type of horrific. But the overwhelming women around, at least around where I am in the Seattle area, are just, oh my God. They are especially horrific. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. And you are correct. Tinder has never been anything but a hookup app, despite the fact that they, every once in a while, they have tried to say that there's something more. It's just like, no, people just get together to have sex on your app. That's it. That's it. For good or bad. For good or bad.